Heading into your national news, the constitutional law that anyone born in the U.S. is a citizen stands, at least for now. President Trump tried to end birthright citizenship for certain children of immigrants through an executive order. Then a Seattle judge blocked its implementation. The Justice Department appealed, asking for that block to be lifted. On Wednesday, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals declined that request. The decision now means the issue will likely end up in the Supreme Court, where the justices would make a final decision. But for the time being, birthright citizenship remains the law of the land. More in your national headlines. Environmental advocates have filed their first climate-related lawsuit against the Trump administration. They're challenging President Trump's order to reopen millions of acres of U.S. waters to fossil fuel drilling. Officials say former President Biden had worked to protect those waters, banning drilling in 625 million acres of water in the Atlantic, Pacific, Alaska, and the Gulf, in a way that would require an act of Congress to undo it. The plaintiffs say Trump's order is therefore illegal. Climate advocates say they defeated Trump the first time he tried to roll back existing protections, and they intend to use the courts to do it again. Listen up, Beeville neighbors. A boil water notice has been issued in your neighborhood. To ensure the destruction of all harmful bacteria and other microbes, water for drinking, cooking, and ice making should be boiled and cooled before use. The water should be brought to a rolling boil and then boiled for 2 minutes. This comes after the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, required city leaders to notify customers due to reduced distribution system pressure. It was issued earlier yesterday and will remain in effect until further notice. For more information, visit our website at KRISTV.com. Now zooming in on Texas specifically, our neighbors in Dallas. The Arctic blast brought lake-effect snow flurries. This kind of snow happens when very cold air moves across warmer lake waters. The lake provides warmth and moisture for precipitation. The cold air makes that precipitation freeze. This is interesting because winds can't be too strong or too light, and that direction has to be just right. But with this Arctic blast bringing winter weather woes across much of the United States, what's next for us here in the Coastal Bend?
I know someone who has that answer. Meteorologist Stephanie Lauber is joining us now at the Weather Center. Steph, how is our forecast shaping up for the rest of the week?
Keeping the roads safe, that's what the upcoming Youth Traffic Safety event is all about. It'll be held on Saturday, March 1st from 9 in the morning to 12:30 in the afternoon at the Mary Carroll High School Gymnasium. One of the speakers will be DWI victim Sean Carter, who will share his story. The event is targeted at youth, but organizers want people of all ages involved.
It's a family event. We want parents to come out with their children. We want everyone to be aware of all of the issues that go on with driving. Parents need to be highly involved with these young drivers, and so if they're all getting the same information, we think it's going to be more impactful.
Over 35 vendors will be there with information and door prizes. The event is free. Another event happening in your neighborhood today is Puppy 101 at the Gulf Coast Humane Society. If you're wanting to welcome a furry friend into your home, or you're thinking about getting a possum addition to the family, then this event is for you. The Gulf Coast Humane Society will teach the basics of owning and caring for a little one, and they'll give you some tips and tricks to make the puppy stages easier. That event is from 4:30 to 5:30 this afternoon, and that address is 3118 Cabaniss Road, right here in Corpus Christi. More news in your neighborhood. Visit Corpus Christi announced its new CEO. Brooke Kaufman will take on this role sometime in May. Kaufman has extensive background in the travel and tourism industry, including in South Dakota and Casper, Wyoming. She replaces Brett Oding, who served as president and CEO until he resigned back in October of last year. Oding came into that position at the start of the pandemic. Delta Airlines is offering money to passengers involved in this week's terrifying incident in Canada. Passengers who accept the airline's offer would get payments of $30,000. A Delta spokesperson said the offer has, quote, no strings attached and does not affect passengers' rights. If all 76 passengers take the offer, it would add up to more than $2.2 million. On Monday, the aircraft flipped upside down after landing on an icy runway at Canada's Toronto Pearson International Airport. All 80 people on the aircraft survived, but at least 18 people were injured. In your look at what's trending, Apple is launching a cheaper version of the iPhone 16. It's called the iPhone 16e, and it will sell for $599. It will be the cheapest iPhone Apple sells that supports its AI tool, Apple Intelligence. It's also the first iPhone with a cellular modem designed by Apple. Apple has been facing increased competition from Google and Samsung in the budget smartphone and the AI markets over the past year. Both companies have focused on updating Android devices with new AI features. Apple is hoping this cheaper iPhone will put its own AI tools in the hands of more consumers. Well, I don't know about you, but I think the most common debate you're going to find here is iPhone or Android. What's the one that we're feeling here?
I am an iPhone person. I've been an iPhone person since my very first phone up until now.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm also sorry. I think me and Steph are in agreement here. We are Android users through and through. Other than our work phones, I have never used an iPhone. Too confusing.
I'm about to date myself here. So back in my day when these smartphones were newly smart, Androids, you could, what do we call them then? Well, you could get open source operating systems on your phone. Meanwhile, everybody was trying to jailbreak their iPhone. So cool fonts and backgrounds, who?
More storage, more fun apps, and yes, a worse camera, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
We have better emojis. We have better emojis.
I got 6 bad boys back here. Well, one of them's a flashlight. Nope. We got a lot here.
I do think they are making a lot of iPhones, though. Just more and more and more. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
If only you could use an iPhone to stay warm.
But the good news is
hand-warming iPhones and Samsung phones.
But the good news is you can check your weather on any type of phone you have, but I would rather trust our meteorologist here,
you
Steph.
can watch KRIS 6 in the app.
Yes, you
on your
can.
iPhone or your Android.
Forecast in the KRIS 6 News app. What can't we do these days, right?
The city's refuge center is open for neighbors looking for shelter from the cold. The emergency cold weather refuge center is set up at the Corpus Christi gym on Cabinets Parkway. That's near Castoris and Saratoga. The shelter will be open until noon.
6 things to know before you go.
In the 6 things you need to know, anyone born in the U.S. is a citizen. That long-standing constitutional promise stands, at least for now. President Donald Trump tried to end birthright citizenship for certain children of immigrants through an executive order. Then a Seattle judge blocked its implementation. The Justice Department appealed, asking for that block to be lifted. On Wednesday, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals declined that request. The decision now means the issue will likely end up in the Supreme Court, where the justices would make a final decision.